Hi everyone, thanks a lot for joining me. Today we're going to make some soccatas, which are a Peruvian pancake that might be something good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They're delicious. They're made with chickpea flour, lots of herbs, and a little bit of salt and lemon zest. So really easy, a great different way to have breakfast that's savory, not sweet, or even dinner. So we're going to get started. So as I always tell people, what's the first thing you do when you get in the kitchen? And that is wash your hands, right? So now is especially important to wash our hands, and we want to wash our hands for 20 seconds. So that means lathering with soap and water for 20 seconds. So I've already washed my hands, but now, and especially now with COVID-19, the best way to get rid of any type of bacteria or viruses on your hands is really just to use plain soap, lathering, get all those bubbles moving, and lather for 20 seconds, okay? So please wash your hands frequently. So I have, like I said, chickpea flour, okay? So this I found at Walmart, so it's very accessible, or you can buy it online, whatever works best for you. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's just kind of a yellow type of flour, and we're just going to put it in a bowl, and it's about 3/4 of a cup. And then I have 3/4 of a cup of water. So I'm going to pour the water in there as well. And I'm going to use avocado oil instead of olive oil. You can use olive oil though. I just always tell people that if you're going to heat your skillet up past 350, then you may want to look at using avocado oil because it has a higher smoke point. So we're going to use a tablespoon of avocado oil, pour that in, and then we're just going to stir it up. And this is our batter, if you will. All right, so we're just going to stir it up, and if you have a whisk, you can also use a whisk. It's not going to get as uniform as, like, let's say, pancake batter. You might see a couple of chunks, but that's okay. All right. What's great about the chickpea flour is that it's gluten-free. So if you're looking for a gluten-free option, this might be something to try. And it's higher in fiber, so that may also, help with regularity, improve your gut microbiome, give that gut microbiome some food to eat. Okay, so now we have our herbs here, okay, and we're going to mince them all up and then throw them into, I dropped my lemon, I'm going to wash it off real quick, but then we're going to throw it into the batter. I'm going to use a cast iron skillet. That way it's a good heat source. I have oil in it, so it's ready to go. All right, so we got our scallions, so we just need 2 tablespoons of scallions. So I'm just rocking the boat like I've shown you many times. Okay, and we'll take our tablespoon. Remember, it needs to be level with the spoon. So we're just going to throw those in. All right, got another tablespoon. Scallions are great. They're in the onion family, but they're not nearly as strong as like a yellow onion. So, plus they provide more color, which is kind of nice. So now I have my cilantro. We need 2 tablespoons of cilantro. You can use the stems if you like. That's totally up to you. If you mince them up well enough, then you can. If they're not minced up very well, you might get a little, stem going on. So I'm actually going to just use them all. I love cilantro. I don't think you can do too much cilantro personally. And if you don't like cilantro, then you can choose a different herb. So this is cilantro and parsley and dill, but if you had oregano or thyme, that would taste delicious too. So I'm just chopping through these guys, and I'm going to stop where the leaves stop. Okay, so I'm just going to throw away the little stems there. Okay, if you have a couple of stems, that's no biggie. And then I'm just going to kind of coarsely go through them again by rocking the boat. Okay. Cilantro and other herbs are great because they actually can pull metals out of your body, like aluminum, lead. So, and what I think is great about spring is you can actually just put these type of herbs in a pot on your windowsill and they'll grow great. So just as long as you water them enough. All right, I got my cilantro. Now I have my parsley. So like I have a parsley in my window and it loves where it lives. And so I have so much parsley now. And that's so much cheaper than just buying parsley at the store. Let's say you didn't have fresh parsley or any of the fresh herbs, that's okay. You can use dried as well. Just remember, dried needs a third of what the fresh is. So for instance, if this is 2 tablespoons of minced parsley or cilantro, there are 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So what you'll want to do is only use 2 teaspoons of dried. Okay, so we're just going to chop through these guys. And we don't get enough herbs and spices in the American diet. And if you haven't learned about the anti-inflammatory diet, what's great is that those herbs and spices, the more we can put into our diet, the more inflammation goes down. Okay, so I got that, and now I have my kale. So my kale is already washed. Make sure if you're buying bagged kale that you check to see that it's washed. Some stores carry it, but it's not washed. So, all right, and we're just going to kind of coarsely chop through this. And you kind of want to make it pretty, you want to cut through it pretty well. Notice I'm not using a steak knife, I'm using a chef knife. It's going to be the most efficient way of cutting. And so when you're efficient, you're not going to spend so much time in the kitchen, right? And that's the point. So if you see a stem, I just kind of pull off the leaves and throw the stem away. A little bit of stem is fine, but sometimes you get stem and no leaves. All right, so again, just make sure you're moving those fingers back when you're cutting through this. Okay. And then you're just going to give it another chop through. See, I found another stem. I don't want that. All right, cutting all the way through. This way it's a little more fine. All right, and we got all that. All right, so now all we need is our salt, and we need 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I always tell people, you can always add more salt. You can never take it out. So if you don't want to add a lot of salt, then you don't have to. And I also tell people to pour it over something else besides the bowl. Okay, there's 1/4. You can always add salt to taste, okay? All right, so here's my mixture, okay? And I'm going to take that same spoon, I'm just going to mix it up. Okay, so this is our batter. And this is how we're going to make our quote-unquote pancakes, otherwise known as soccatas. All right. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's just a lot of herbs and kale with a little bit of batter. Oh, and I need my lemon zest. So here's my lemon. It says 1 teaspoon. Typically, it's about a teaspoon per lemon. So we're just going to throw that in. And if you like lemon, you go right ahead and zest away. This gives you all the essential oils that are found in the lemon, so lemon zest is actually really good for us. Those oils have been shown to be protectant against tumors. So if you like lemon zest and lime zest in your, in dishes, I would go ahead zest. And I have like a spiralizer. I use it as a zester. Or you can use like a smaller grater if you wanted to, like a microplane grater, whatever you have. I don't think it's, all that important because the flavor is going to be just as good. So, okay. So now I have my wonderful little pancake mix, and I have my heat on medium low. So I'm just going to take a couple of spoonfuls, and I'm going to put them in there. And what you want to do is kind of spread these out, okay? Because what you want is the batter to get a little crispy on one side, and then you'll be able to flip it. The heat may be a little high, so I'm going to have to turn it down a smidge, I feel. Okay, I got it in there. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. So we're going to just let that crisp up, and then we'll flip them over. So the recipe can be used like as a dip. You're going to use avocado on the top. So we're just going to slice an avocado. So I washed my avocado. Once again, there's a big seed in there, right? So you got to cut through, and then when you hit that seed, you're just going to go all the way around the avocado. And then you just twist it gently, and voila, you have one with the seed, one with not. And I always tell people keep the seed and then put the avocado back together. That will ensure that it stays fresher longer in the refrigerator. And if you ever get black stuff on the surface of your avocado, you can just scrape it off with a butter knife, and then it'll be green underneath. All right, so we're just going to make little slices. So I just kind of I score the avocado, right? All right. And then, so those of you doing dairy, I use Fage, I believe that's how you say it, F-A-G-E. I think it's a delicious yogurt that's plain. It has no sugars in it. And I'm going to make a little dip for the soccatas. So now I'm checking out the soccatas. They're looking okay so far. All right, so we're just going to take one of these little dishes we had, and we're going to add a little bit of the yogurt in there. You can use any type of plain yogurt, Greek or regular, whatever you like. And then we're going to cut our lemon. And I always roll my lemon first. That ensures that all the juice comes out. So, and then I hold the pulp against the palm of my hand and I squeeze. And that way no seeds get in there. Okay. All right, let's have a look-see. All right, so the heat is a little high, but they're coming. Okay. And you want to make sure you have oil in it. Like I had a little bit of oil. I could have used maybe a smidge more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on it real quick. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't, right? But I'm going to put the lid on, and that way maybe it'll work. And I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit. So I got my my yogurt and my lemon juice, and I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of garlic cloves. So I'm going to pop them to get that skin off. Got this one. I'm going to pop this one. And then if you see like a little knots, you know, a little hard dried part at the bottom of the garlic, go ahead and just chop that off. And then we're just going to chop through these real quick and then mince. So cut really fine, dice it really fine. And then push it back together, chop it again, nice and fine. Garlic is fantastic. I always tell people if there's any allium vegetables to add to your meals, it's garlic and onion. They're in the allium family. All right, so we're gonna put all that yummy garlic in there. And raw garlic has got some really good benefits for killing, you know, bacteria and microbes that might be, you know, running around. And then we're just gonna mix up our sauce. All right. If you don't want to use dairy, you could just do an olive oil and a lemon juice blend with some garlic, and that would be just as delicious. So let's see if I can't get my little pancakes to come up here. Ah, yes, much better. Or not, maybe. So cast iron skillets are really hot, as you all know, I'm sure. So I want to use one of these guys so I don't burn my hand. All right, so the next batch I'm gonna make sure I put a little bit more oil in there. Okay, and I'm just gonna flip them over. They're looking fine, it's just that that bottom kind of got stuck, so next time we're gonna add more oil. And you know, now's the time to kind of experiment in your kitchen. If you have always been on the go and busy doing stuff, since we don't really have this option right now, now's the time to play. You know, you do a lot more benefit for your body if you cook at home versus eating out. And then the other thing to remember is there's been some, you know, funky news out there about washing your vegetables and your fruit with soap. You know, when I have done the research, I've actually seen that water gets rid of 90 to 99% of all pathogens on your fruits and vegetables. So there really is no reason to use vinegar water or even soapy water. In fact, if the soap gets absorbed in the fruit or the vegetable, then you actually could cause more digestive issues. And so just rinsing them, you know, well underwater in cool water will get rid of the majority of the bacteria. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that your stomach acid is going to kill off everything else. That's why we have such a low pH in our stomachs, so that we do kill the majority of the bacteria and the pathogens in our food. All right, so we got our soccatas here. All right, so they're a little bit, they're not done all the way. So I'm gonna wait, and what we're gonna do is make another type of soccata. So this one is the zucchini and lemon zuccata. Okay, so once again, we got our chickpea flour. We're gonna use a half of a cup. All right, we're going to use a half of a cup of our chickpea flour. Okay, then we need a half of a cup of water. Just going to pour that in. And we'll need another tablespoon of olive oil. So my tablespoon is full of yummy sauce, so I'm just going to do 3 teaspoons of this guy. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grate about 1 zucchini. Okay, so I have this grater. So what's great about this is you just set it over your bowl, and then you can grate away. Okay. And you want to grate it because you don't want too chunky pieces of zucchini, right? Okay, almost there. If you don't have a grater, then you could just cut through this really fine. You could cut right through the zucchini really finely. But zucchini is great because it takes on the flavor of whatever you have going on. And it's a good filler. So we make all different types of zucchini, right? We make zoodles, which are zucchini noodles, zucchini rice I've even seen. So really, sky's the limit when it comes to zucchini. Okay, and then we have a lemon zest again. So let me grab one more lemon. I'm going to rinse it off real well. And then, like I said, so you can roll the lemon, right? So you can put your palm on it and just roll the lemon. Okay, that ensures that all that wonderful juice gets out. Okay, and then we're going to zest here again. So I'm just going to do about a teaspoon. And I can just see the oils just spraying as I do this. So really healthy, really good. Vitamin C, which is great for immune system function, you know, wanting to protect your body from getting sick. All right, and then we have our scallions again. So we're going to use all the way down to about the white part. Okay, so I'm going to set this over there. And we're just going to rock the boat again. All the way down. There we go. I'm going to throw those guys on in. All right, and then if you wanted things a little spicy, you could add a little crushed red pepper or wait till the end to kind of taste it first. That's totally up to you. Okay, so we're going to take our spoon. Where did our spoon go? There it is. We're just going to mix this all up. Now, there's a lot of moisture in zucchini, so these are going to take a little bit longer in your skillet because there is so much moisture. But still, really good, really satisfying. You don't have to add eggs, so if you aren't eating eggs, you don't even need them. But if you wanted to, you could, for sure. Okay, we got these soccatas all done. And let me grab a plate. Okay, so I'm going to take out our soccatas here, and they're just little herby pancakes, you know. They're going to be delicious, I promise. So we could make them a little bit browner. If you add a little bit more oil, you can. So you need about a tablespoon of oil. Now in a cast iron skillet, sometimes you get the stuff all stuck, but you can kind of get it off. I mean, I'm making my kitchen a mess, but you can kind of get it off by just kind of breaking it up. So I'm going to go ahead and take this over to my sink and just kind of get all that extra stuff out. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about the stuff that's stuck on there. It'll be fine. What I am going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more oil in here. So 1 around, 2 around, that is about 2 tablespoons. That's what Rachel Ray taught me. And we're going to turn up our heat a little bit now that we're ready to go. And I'm just going to move that oil all around. All right. And now we're going to do our zucchini soccatas. So what I want to do is I want to spread it. Sorry, you can't see my head. I want to spread it out so that we're not waiting forever for it to cook. If you make it too thick in the middle, then it's going to take a long time to get all crispy. All right, and we talk about types of, methods of cooking. So there's dry cooking, there's dry methods of cooking, and then there's moist. And what I will say is, like, when you cook meat over a dry heat, such as like sauteing or broiling or grilling, then you need to make sure that you add some type of marinade to that meat so that you're preventing all those inflammatory compounds from being created that you're going to ingest. But when it comes to veggies, they don't really do the same thing. They don't really make those inflammatory compounds. So even though we are pan sauteing right now, I'm not worried terribly about the inflammatory compounds that could be going on. All right, so we're just sizzling here. And as you make food, you want to clean up, right? So I'm going to start cleaning up. I'm going to keep my lemons here. I'm going to keep my avocado there. Scallions, I'm going to compost, right? And you know what you also could do? You could actually put these guys in a little cup of water and they would grow again. So if you want to start your own little green onions, you could do that. Or because they already have roots, you could actually throw these right in a pot, which I may do. You could throw them right in a pot and they would grow for you. So actually, I'm going to keep this rubber band and I'm going to grow my own green onions for spring. Okay. And we got enough dip, so I'm just going to start putting stuff away. So, you know, the goal of the whole idea of cooking at home is that you don't sit here and waste a ton of time, right? And no recipe needs to be forever. So I just, you know, I make sure I'm cleaning as I'm going while I'm cooking so that I don't have to deal with it afterwards. All right, so we got our garlic. I'm going to put our garlic away. Okay, and I'm double checking on these guys. Let's kind of see. So they're not ready just yet. Okay. All right. But yeah, now is the time to really take advantage of cooking at home. And I always say recipes are frameworks, so don't be bogged down if you don't have an ingredient. Just go with the flow, pick something different, be creative, right? Most inventions were accidents, so you might even find that a better way to make these soccatas, you know, than the recipe calls for. All right. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. All right, they're starting to come up. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this guy. And as you can see, it's a little golden brown. So a little bit more oil is necessary. So that was my mistake. But you know, they'll still taste delicious. And I have more batter. So you can go ahead and save the batter, or you can make them all now and then just eat them throughout the week. That's what's so great. And you can even save your sauce, you know, if you have leftover. And if you feel like your sauce is too thick, you can always add a little bit of water or lemon juice, and that would be great too. All right. So this is what it says. It says soccata, and it says it's inspired by a Persian egg dish called cuckoo. And this vegan cuckoo gets a healthy dose of sliced kale in addition to the typical fresh herbs. So we're doing good for our bodies. Parsley actually is a really good source of vitamin C. So once again, when you think of fruits and vegetables, all fruits and vegetables contain vitamin C. In fact, all fruits and vegetables also contain potassium, which is great for blood pressure, as well as heart rhythm and relaxing muscles. And most people think the banana is the highest in potassium, but actually the avocado has more potassium than a banana. So we're doing ourselves a little bit of benefit there. Not to mention, avocado has vitamin E in it. It also has vitamin C, fiber, and those heart-healthy fats that don't make us fat and keep our hearts healthy by keeping cholesterol low. All right, so we're almost ready to put these in here. They just take a little bit of more time. Like I said, the zucchini has a bit more water in it. So, but notice how well they're staying together, and we didn't even have an egg in there. Okay. So, and if you want, you can turn up your heat a little bit more. I had mine on about medium low. So yeah. All right. So, I hope you all enjoyed. So what you're just going to do is we're just going to add a little dollop here. Actually, we're going to add a little sliced avocado first. So the way I get my avocado out